This is Chanel Bunger with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. And today I have with me partner at McGuireWoods, David Pivnick. David, thank you so much for joining me today. What are some of the trends that you're currently watching in private equity?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. One of the main things I'm working on, as a litigator, I come at private equity, the angle sort of differently because I'm looking at a lot of diligence in transactions and figuring out what makes sense. And a large part of my focus is on what the government is focused on and what DOJ is looking at. So I'm looking at a couple of different things. One, a lot of my practice is focused on private equity investment in healthcare. So it's examining sort of areas where the government is expressing interest in healthcare platforms from an enforcement standpoint. So continuing to see a lot of activity and cases coming out of the opioid epidemic in various forms, seeing a lot more activity and continuing focus on home health and hospice. And I've been increasingly seeing cases that arise out of lab operations or in connection with urine drug and other types of urine drug testing and other tests. The other area that I'm looking at, though, is also sort of an increased focus on private equity funds themselves in connection with their various investments and where the DOJ is looking into the private equity funds directly. We've seen a couple of cases, still a very limited number, I'm pleased to say on that front, but increasing scrutiny directly at the fund level, as well as investigations that are resulting in some requests directly to the fund, even if it's not the focus of the investigation. So that's certainly something I'm actively monitoring and looking to see if trends are developing on that front.
Perfect. And did you have anything else that you want to speak about today?
No, I think those are the main areas that I'm currently focused on.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, David, for keeping us updated as always. And thank you for joining me today on the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.